What was he running?
He got second at Richmond. He's playing Necrolls.
Okay, so 2 people that we lost to this event. So the Necros Satellar Knight mirror match. Peter Chang is main decking Mind Crushes, so should be worth noting. That is what he did to me on Triple Unicorn round 2. Let's see what he said. Oh, Emptiness. That's a pretty good card. Did Peter go first? If he went first, I think this game might be over just based on that opening hand.
Yeah, Max's opening hand is Book of Eclipse, Valor, Maxi. Seems really
well,
weak.
Valor's pretty good here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be able to stop off the Deneb. What's the second card? Is that a Call the Haunted? Oh, the final card here. He's got Deep Prison, Vanity's Emptiness.
Is that double Deep Prison?
No, I thought it was only 1 Deep Prison. He holds his card, so it's a Call the Haunted. So he's
Okay.
thinking here between Ukulele and Deneb. Yeah, I think this is the best way because you Call the Haunted is a card I'd rather try and utilize later on than be stone cold to an MST. So yeah, with Mind Crush, this also makes it so he has a Mind Crush target in his hand. So it's going to be a tough one for Max to win. He's got Vanity's Emptiness, Mind Crush, Dimensional Prison, and Call of the Haunted. And he's already holding 2 cards that are less than ideal. Maxi and Valor. DD Crows, or DD Warrior Lady. Surprisingly, he's actually pretty 4-2. He might just set it. If Peter didn't have the Deep Prison, it would be pretty good. Yeah. Max's hand would be great for the mirror match, but Eclipse is subpar against the Teller Knights. Valor has its moments. Maxi has its moments, but early on, I don't think any of those cards are going to do too much work for Max. So, pretty reasonable draw out of Peter. Now, here Peter, I think, is going to activate the reinforcements of the army for the Ukulele, the 1800 monster that Foolish Burials. I think that puts him in the best shape because he has the Call the Haunted set too. It's also tough to just assume what your opponent's running with a set monster like that. Yeah, he has the option of making Trevier. That's very strong. It's going to reset his Call the Haunted, take a card out of Max's hand. And granted, Max does have Valor and Maxi. I don't know why Peter's playing around with the Altair. Altair doesn't seem right. It definitely seems like that's the right play. Yeah, now he'll probably send a Deneb to the grave. That would make sense. Or Vega. That's a bit ambitious. Oh, all right.
Does he want to direwolf the set? How does he expect to...
I don't think he knows what the set is. He probably thinks it might be Falco or something.
It's a Raikou.
Yeah, maybe it's a Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, the Vega I don't necessarily mind, but I feel like it's just going to be more difficult now. The Call the Haunted isn't going to be utilized this turn. Unless he overlays, detaches the Deneb, and then uses Call to get back the Vega, to get back the Altair. So this is a good attack here with the Ukulele. Attacking to a DD Warrior Lady, Max doesn't have much of an option but to banish. Peter, look at Peter.
That is the card.
That is what it was. I'm not sure what Peter necessarily thought. He played a little bit conservative here, main phase 1. He obviously could have sent Deneb. He could have made a few different plays, but a little bit conservative, unaware what the back, where the face down monster is. Deneb will be able to bring Max down to 65. See, so that's another reason I'm not sure I would have sent Vega. It's just, it seems a little bit underwhelming.
Your play is now relying on your opponent's play.
It's not like you can just Altair Vega back next turn.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a multiple step process to make that Vega live. But again, Max looks like he's cold to an emptiness. So this game could be over just based on the fact that Peter has emptiness. I don't see any way of attacking over Deneb. I don't see a shirt he can set.
I also don't see any Necrol's cards, so I don't see like any like follow up for that.
Yep, just Colossus really. He's got a bunch of hand traps and Eclipse, which does very little. So we might just see Vanity's Emptiness, Floodgate out game 1 here. Searches cycle. Why didn't he call Vega? Well, calling Vega doesn't necessarily progress the board very well. I mean, he has Altair in hand. Is he going to summon Altair with nothing in the graveyard? I'm not sure that's a real good investment right now.
Yeah, like the best you could do with that is make like a really weak Trevere, hope it gets there to bounce back your call, and that's really, really.
Which is why
cards.
I would have just sent Deneb.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't necessarily know that's DD Warrior Lady, and then he'll have 3 monsters for main phase 2 regardless, and he could bounce it and get his call and his Deneb search. I think he'd be in better shape, but I guess the DD Warrior Lady makes that a moot point. Yeah, Max, but he just set the Book of Eclipse and pass. Is that what he ended up doing here? See, now Peter's end phase thinking about call the Haunted. I don't think he's going to call the Haunted. And that's a very strong draw. Alpha. All right, I guess he's going to go for it.
Max just has to chain Maxi.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, now if he sent Deneb with the Unikai, ukulele, however you would like to pronounce, I think he'd be in a little bit better shape. Now, granted, he's at a point now where he needs his Call the Haunted to resolve bringing back an Altair or Deneb to continue his searches. So he's at least risking the possibility of being cut off.
What did Max draw? A Unicorn?
Yeah, it looks like he drew a Unicorn off the Maxi. I don't know why he's showing him, but...
Okay, Peter wants to chain to the Maxi.
So he's trying to do Chainlink 1, Altair, Chainlink 2, Vega, so he doesn't draw off the Maxi. An interesting sequencing there from Peter. Looks like he's got...
So you play call on which one?
Vega.
Yeah, Vega.
Let's look at the... Oh, okay, I see you changing.
Yeah,
Okay,
changing, that's why.
Yeah, he's trying to cut off the draw off the Maxi. See, now he's completely cut off of searches. All the more reason. See if that Deneb was sent to the grid last turn. But again, Peter's still in really great shape.
Pass.
I mean, he's got Mind Crush and Emptiness, so I think it's going to be very tough for Max to win regardless. But this was a good play out of Peter. He kind of cuts off a draw. He already sensed weakness out of Max, which is really something I like to do. Once you sense weakness, just cut off their Maxi completely dead.
Didn't he draw Alpha for turn?
He did, but he doesn't want to set it because he has Mind Crush.
Okay.
Now, if he searched Deneb,
Yeah.
this game would be completely over. I think it's still over anyway because Peter has a great few back rows, but Max is about to set effect Valor, so you can tell that nothing about this game went in his favor. Yeah. Now Max is going to be forced to Book of Eclipse, so this is tough. Yeah, he's going to force Book of Eclipse, draw a bunch of cards, and then he's going to be able to set Alpha.
Which one did he attack with?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's important because all of these guys will trigger now.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, nothing changed.
I can flip them up, right?
They're supposed to flip it. You draw one for each.
But I mean, maybe two.
Oh, you mean to... Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
It just depends which one he attacked with. Yes, Book of Eclipsing 3 live Satellar Knights is not exactly the position you ever want to find yourself in. In theory, Peter should have attacked with the Vega. That would have made it so that the one that he uses...
Does he have a monster in grave?
No, but he searched Unikai.
Okay.
Granted, he always needs to keep a card in hand for Mind Crush. Be wary of that. But he's in a position where he could even Trevier, pop a card out of the hand, bounce back, call the Haunted.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, you know.
So, what's the life right now?
I'm at 21 to his 80.
You're at what?
21 to his 80.
He's 8,000?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it might have been a little bit sloppy play, just I'll attack with all my monsters on Max's and Peter's behalf, because it's not necessarily clear which monster Peter attacked with. See, Peter has the option of flipping Vega to summon the unit guy from his hand. Yeah, he just all right, that works. That works. Yeah, no need to even show him the fact that
You
he
feel
said.
better. Kill him with it. All real too.
All right, Peter just showing him. I'm not sure that's exactly the best approach. I mean, it's a good assumption that some of those would be there. The Mind Crush, though, I think is loose. Emptiness, you know, is going to be there. Alpha, you know, is going to be there, or at least in the deck.
Did I know?
I don't know if I'd show Deep Prison either, because it's always a toss-up whether they play Deep Prison or Mirror Force.
Yeah, they.
Like, you know one of them's
Yes,
going to be there, you
yes.
just don't know which one.
You don't know which one he's going to play. I like Mirror Force, for example.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can make out what he's side decking in. It looks like Veilers, there's some Fairy Winds, Mind Drain. Yeah, I knew he sides Mind Drain in.
Wriggle.
Regal. He side decked in MST against me.
That's like one of the reasons why I never like fully liked playing this deck right now. Like, you have to side for their side. Like, you have to side cards specifically for Decree, or just main like weak cards game one.
Yeah, you're talking from Peter's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the outs like Diamond, Direwolf, and
Yeah.
whatnot, but I do
But,
know
like,
what
that's
you mean.
never.
It's never
optimal.
ideal to have to do any of that. You almost have to hedge and hope that Maxwell siding in like a Mirror Force or a Torrential or something to make it so that it's not only focused on Decree. I know exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm serious about that.
It's tough. It's tough. Because it is quite the conundrum. They could side Decree and you're in bad shape. And it was like that multiple times throughout this game's history. I remember back in Lightsworn format, the Lightsworn player would always sign the 3 Decree against the Zombie deck or the Blackwing deck, and it's like, do you keep the MST in just for the Decree? You literally lose the game because your deck is so reliant on the trap stopping the powerful cards back then, and it's the same case now.
It's also a toss-up now because quite a few lists last weekend topped and none of them played Decree.
This is also true. Like, Decree might not even be seen. So I'll say that Peter put MST in against me without explicitly knowing I had Decree in my deck.
He also put in Iron Walls. I'm not sure if he made. He definitely just put them in. There's no Eid main.
Yeah, he sided Mind Drain. He definitely stated that to me that he sides Mind Drain in for this matchup. So now Max has the option of going first or second, and it's always a conundrum against a deck like Satellite. You really want that 6th card as the Necros player, but you really can't handle if Peter opens up with a Floodgate or any type of real trap presence that is difficult to break through. Mind Crush with an Alpha, etc., etc. So I think Max is probably going to go first. I think he saw Mind Crush game 1. He knows it's going to be back there game 2.
You can just have
Yeah, I think he just said he's going first. Makes sense. Makes sense. As much as you want to see that 6th card, this is such a difficult matchup when your opponent has a bunch of back rows that are live like Peters were in that previous game.
I guess that's like the advantages of playing Denko Seka.
Oh yeah, that card is some really terrible card design, but
Yeah.
it is a card that's part of the format and can punish you if you're reliant on set Mind Crush, set Alpha, set Emptiness Pass. So let's see. Peter starts up with the Deneb. That's always a good start. And a Book of Moon, less. Another Deneb, a little bit less. Imperial Ironwall is not the worst. What was that?
Fiendish Chain. I
Fiendish
think.
Chain. Okay, well, this is a average hand. I don't think this hand is amazing, but it's sufficient enough. He'll be able to cut off a Manju or send you early in the game if he wants. And the Imperial Iron Wall is not the worst. Imperial Iron War's a little bit better mid to late game. It depends on how Max opens up and whether or not it's going to involve.
I think I saw. I couldn't tell. I thought it was a hand in his hand.
Oh, that would be.
I think that's an ice hand right there.
That's gonna be rough for Peter. I hate being forced to Fiendish Chain that. And even if he Fiendish Chains, his follow up isn't that great.
Yeah, like he has to make a Abyss Dweller. Maybe it just gets that.
Yeah, and that's just miserable. Then you're really redundant with Imperial Iron Wall and Abyss Dweller. And at that point, you don't have your Fiendish Chain anymore.
Actually,
He has Book of Moon too, rather. I mean, so he could Book of Moon. He doesn't have to Fiendish Chain.
Is that a Denko? I don't know. I can't tell if it's ice hand or Denko. I see blue.
I see a Gunganir, and I thought I saw a Typhoon. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 100% Gunganir in hand.
Yeah.
He's passed.
He just passes. Wow, okay. Well, Peter's hand is going to be able to summon... Oh,
Ooh,
that was a good one.
That's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that one might do it. If I'm in Peter's spot, I just slam that on the board. The other Deneb is not even a consideration. So Maxwell's going to drop to 4,600 from the attack of Thunder King Ryo and Deneb. That Thunder King, man, he got me with that game too also. That single Thunder King just doing work. So now Max is in the spot where the plays he had on the first turn, he didn't deem strong enough.
He drew a Unicorn for turn. I'm not sure what that does for him, if anything.
Well, if he has Kaleidoscope, it does something. Here's the Danko Sekka. Ooh. All right, all right. How things change. You see, he must have been holding the Regeki. So that what I was about to say is that when your opponent passes like that and you put them into an even more awkward situation, one of two things is going to happen. One, they were holding a card like Dark Roller Regeki, which Maxwell was, or you're putting them in and forcing them into the position of making a play that they did not deem ideal the prior turn. Of course, the only reason he deemed MS or Regeki on Deneb of the previous turn as less than ideal is because it simply would have been a poor use of resources. Here, hitting the Thunder King, obviously very strong. So, luckily for Maxwell, he's going to have a turn uninterrupted by back rows. Let's see what he's able to. Because it still looks like he has Typhoon in hand, Kaleidoscope and Unicorn. Really depends on the remaining 3 or 4 cards in hand that we can't quite make out. To what extent can he tutor up exactly what he needs? Trish is probably one of the main targets here. We'll banish the Deneb from grave. Puts him in a position where he's not afraid of Altair. The back rows are still dead. Brian Act Surge, Volk.
What'd you add?
I added Brio with the Cloud and
That's the only card I know in your hand.
So Peter just confirming what he knows and taking notes, something you can do with the ARG Circuit Series and not TN. Unless you want to get banned for 5 days.
I was gonna say, did you ever get on
I'm
ban
at
for that?
46. He's at
Oh, I got banned 5 days. They let me come back, but 5 days. All right. So he passes, attacks and passes. That's a shame. If Maxwell had access to Trishula, he would be in a tremendous position because he would just strand some cards in Peter's hand, but able to summon back the Deneb. Peter here is going to be in a position where he either crashes with the Deneb or goes over the Deneb with an Exceed monster. Are there any? I don't think there's any Exceed that he can go into, though.
He can make a Karen Gorgon.
But he,
Like,
he,
yeah.
he can't attack, though, because of
Oh, yeah,
Altair's
yeah,
effect.
yeah.
So there's no level.
Yeah, there's no.
There's Platonymous, but
Yeah, but
that
you
doesn't
can't
get
use the
over it.
effect.
Yeah.
You
So
can
main
make
phase,
like
main phase,
Autonomous make Diamond. Yeah.
but that's main phase 2.
Yeah.
So he has the option here of just crashing his Altair into Danko Sekka and losing the ability to Exceed, which would unlock his Fiendish Chain, his Book of Moon.
That's probably what he like has to do. He has to have a way to deal with the Unicorn, ideally too.
Yeah. Because of course he can't.
He also knows he has Valk, so I guess
Yeah.
he thinks like he'll probably just Valk it anyway.
Yeah. He can try and crash. He's in a really tough spot. And if he tries to crash, he might just get valked. He can't go into a really strong Exceed Monster and attack over Unicorn because of Altair's effect.
Yeah.
Any Exceed Monster goes into, Unicorn just negates. So
I'll go to battle phase.
let's see what Maxwell does. I think it might be right to just Valk here. I think it is right. I don't even think it might be. I think it absolutely is, yeah. Just continue off your Cold Wave effect. Put Peter into a situation where he has to go into an Exceed Monster that's not going to have a relevant effect.
I'll move first.
If Peter's going to look, I mean, he's going to scour his extra deck, try and find something that might get him out of the situation. Not sure he's going to see anything. Yeah, that's what he's doing here. He's scouring through the extra deck, trying to find if any of them match up well against Unicorn, Danko, Seka, and I don't think he's going to be successful unless he plays something that's a little bit out of left field. Can I tilt this just a little? Sorry.
Pass.
If Peter is able to somehow break out of this, which at this point I don't think he's going to be able to do, he's going to have access to Fiendish Chain, which is all right, Book of Moon, which is all right, and then Imperial Iron Wall. So, really dependent on if he can break out of the situation. But against Danko and Unicorn, it's very difficult to do. Looks like a Typhoon in hand also. We knew from earlier. Is Maxwell really considering going into an Exceed Monster with his 2 level 4s? I think that would be a bit adventurous. Let's see if we can make it. So he's got Gungnir. He's really fiddling through that. Maybe he has Kaleidoscope, and we're just not 100% positive on that, because I think going into an Exceed Monster with the Danko Seka is rough. I mean, Peter passes just with Kanagara, and he's obviously showing weakness. He wasn't able to do anything too strong on the previous turn. If I'm Maxwell, I'm just trying to find a way to attack over Kanagara and perhaps have another Valk. Or just have Gungnir. If you can summon Gungnir, you're in tremendous shape because you'll be able to attack over the Kanagara on this turn, and then the monster that tries to attack Danko Seka just gets destroyed by Gungnir on the following turn. So, if I'm Maxwell, I'm definitely trying to find a way to put Gungnir on the board. Is that another Danko Seka? It is another Danko Seka. The man with all the Dankos. So he's got a Danko Seka. Is that a preparation of rights?
I'm just gonna pass.
Passes. Wow. Very unexpected just to pass here. See, now he can attack over the Danko Seka with a Kanagara on. If he doesn't have Valk.
He doesn't. We don't know if he has access to another Deneb or not, do we? Because the one's stuck there now. The Karagorn, there's no way you can just detach.
He has one in hand. He has
he
one in
does?
hand. Yes, yes. He's that Altair, and he drew Call the Haunted first turn. I think he has Vega in hand as well. So now he's got Imperial Iron Wall, Fiendish Chain, and Book of Moon. So he's at least doing something. Of course, any Exceed that he goes into, he has the Book of Moon to shut off the Unicorn, depending on the sequencing. So here's the Neb to search. Yeah, Peter might be able to wiggle his way out here. Maxwell seemed to have ran out of steam on the previous turn. Wasn't expecting that. He's got Vega, Call the Haunted. He's got the...
Yeah, like we knew he had.
So the big thing here is Maxwell just going to be able to drop
Yeah.
another Danko. Peter's going to be in a position where he might need to just flip Iron Wall immediately, or even flip Call the Hunt on the Thunder King. And that's exactly what Peter's thinking. Do I play around Danko Seka?
I don't think there's like any reason you wouldn't.
Play around Danko Seka?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you saw one. No, it's
Like
not
if they have MST, they're gonna MST it anyway. I don't like it.
but it's the,
Yeah.
if you don't flip Imperial Iron Wall, Danko is just going to
No, I'm saying there's no reason to not play around.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying there was no reason. Yeah, this makes sense. I'm not sure it's going to do a whole hell of a lot right now.
Like, the part that sucks is we knew Max drew the Unicorn to string on his plays the turn, and he had to waste his search on the Valk so Altair didn't run into it.
Absolutely.
And then he had no follow-up for that.
Because he does have another Danko. So depending on what he drew for the turn, he did not deem what he had reasonable the previous turn. So his draw phase really needs to change and progress the game state. Because he was staring at a larger Kanagor on the previous turn. So looks like he has Typhoon, Danko Seka, Gunganir. Does he have any ritual spells? That's the big question. Does he have Cycle?
I see a Cycle, yeah.
Yeah, no, Cycle's not going to do a whole lot right now, though. And
I think it's a
Mirror.
mirror.
Yeah. These cards don't do a whole lot. I'm trying to think of something that you can do with this. Yeah, you can't even crash into Kanagaron to use a ritual from the grave. Not that you'd want to, but it's not even an option with Imperial Iron Wall out. And once Unicorn leaves the board, then he has Kanagaron Imperial Iron Wall set up. So Book of Moon on there. Interesting to protect the Deneb there. Like, he's not afraid of rituals coming out of the grave for banishing searches. So Peter must just view that Maxwell is invested in getting that Unicorn off the board for some reason. And he'd rather not even wait to see what Max was thinking. So now he's just stuck with some Dankos, some ritual spells he can't utilize, and a Typhoon. So this game is rapidly falling out of Maxwell's hands. Yeah. I thought this game was over after the Regeki.
Yeah.
But Peter's been able to really build back, and for all purposes, I mean, his hand is primarily just all monsters. It's really just been on the back of the inability of Maxwell to progress the game state after Deneb was summoned. Maxwell's just not drawn the best combination of cards. Here we see Deneb search out the 1800 Unikai, ukulele, however you'd like to pronounce it.
Battle phase?
Yep, Peter takes it.
Yes, he
Okay,
does.
you just had like no cards.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
What did you have? I don't know. Oh, yeah, another Danko?
I could have like summoned Danko and like made him exceed to like. You could have.
Oh, that was round 5.
Yeah. Interesting to hear the players talk about their match in the aftermath.
I should have
Yeah.
definitely put the Imperial Iron Wall such a long time ago.
Yeah, Peter's talking about now